Hello, welcome to today's show with Phil, alright? Um, Welcome to today's show with Phil. Let's get together to talk about issues affecting today's society. Let's pull up a chair to sit down to have a discussion. Alright, we're going to have a discussion. Today's show. We're going to talk about gaslighting. Alright? You go to work, you're on the workplace, someone over you. Well, in this case, gaslighting on the work is common. It's common in occupation. Constructions, fast food. It could be a funeral home, could be a retail place. Gaslighting affects the employee in a very negative way. And we're going to talk about the word gaslighting, all right? Well, in my case, I became a victim of gaslighting. But this time, I take up from my general manager and the shift lead because they did not do this. They basically know what I'm going through. They work with me. I work with them. They understand that I'm trying. And when you do stuff by actions, they know you're trying. They can see that. All right. Well, sometimes it can be the boss doing the gaslighting. Sometimes it can be the assistant manager. Sometimes it can be your co-worker. All right? Sometimes the co-worker is the one that's not a shift lead, the one that goes around. Okay, a boss must be assertive person. Assertive is a person that leads while treating everyone the same. He brings everybody together like a magnet. A bossy co-worker is typically a gaslighter. And if I am hitting the nail on the head, please do let me know in your comments below. And I'm going to talk about this to get this awareness out. I'm going to bring awareness on gaslighting out because of the fact that it happens. Hey, I'm going to bring awareness. Once you hit it, now, a boss promises a raise when you do a huge project. Once you hit send, nothing comes your way. Worse, when you confront him, he blames you. What are you even talking about, he asks. You're working on a project to do typewritten work. Instead of apologizing or discussing it, he plays the victim. Don't that sound common? That's in a office work environment. So you don't want to apologize and no one want to be called crazy. More reason not to do that on a bustle. Since he can't stir up an HR storm for every conflict, we explain it away. Everyone says they regret, sigh, we get overreact. These moments are subtle. They're more harmful for your mental health than you think. And they have a name. Gaslighting. Gaslighting. Where people use lies, false promises, personal attacks to make you question your own sanity, your memory, your sense of reality. Basically everything. If gaslighting is happening in an employee or supervisor relationship, it can be more confusing. In my case, it did happen to me at where I work at. This time it was a coworker, not a shift manager. Okay? Not the GM. I told the truth in the office. To that end, we're breaking down exactly how you deal with this type of workplace harassment. What is gaslighting? Psychology today, gaslighting is a tactic in which a person or entity, in order to gain more power, makes a victim question their reality. An employee who loses his or her parent often gets gaslighting. They get that harassment happen to them. And this is called manipulation. And trust me, it happens more in workplaces. Gaslighters manipulate to control you. Once you begin doubting your own instincts, you're more likely to believe whatever you're told, starting a vicious cycle of manipulation, denial, even more manipulation. And yes, it has happened to me. I'm speaking out about it. Okay? Dr. Stephanie Sarkis, author of Gaslighting, recognized manipulative, emotionally abusive people and break free. Notes, gaslighters are often master liars. The catch is they do it so boldly that the victim is left confused. Do they really just lie to my face, or did I just misunderstood? Sometimes it's easier and natural to think the best of someone, assume maybe you didn't see something you saw, than to admit you may be dealing with a really toxic coworker. Yes, that was me the other day. I got snapped at, or someone took their frustration. I was basically gaslighted. But you know what? I'm fighting back. Or it's just plain bad behavior. Yes, that goes with that. Gaslighters work slowly to keep you unbalanced. While gaslighting is insidious, there are ways to keep your eyes open for this manipulation tactic. Signs you're dealing with a gaslighter behavior. First step in stopping gaslighting is to recognize it. So what does it look like? Let me tell y'all something, folks. It happens in workplaces. Number one, they tell obvious lies. The boss tell you one thing Monday, then the exact opposite on Tuesday. What do you believe? You don't know. But this time, mine was just a coworker. Barking orders. They turned around and asked me, did I hear them? And they had loud music playing in the background. No, I will not take manipulation on the job again. I will stand up. Now, if you've been a victim of gaslighting, no, you do not have to take this. You do not have to take this. All right. You're a human being just like I am. So, you don't know what is the point if someone in a position of power is doing this gaslighting. It's easy to blame yourself or feel confused. And if you're confused, you're easier to control. Wow, don't that sound like a communist manifesto to get you in an interrogation room to make you have a breakdown and they mold you into a gaslighting mode? No, it's not okay. Break that chain of cycle. Number 2, they deny making a promise even when you have proof. Similarly, gaslighters use promise to extract time or work from you. I had this happen to me. It was a coworker told me I should have done something at 2 o'clock, which I punched in at 3 o'clock. My question is, how in the world am I supposed to be at the job site at 2 o'clock or an hour early when other than when I'm scheduled? So, and renege wants the time for them to pay up. Yeah, that has happened. But by denying the promise in the first place, they get out of their obligation to make you doubt your version of events. Well, I had that happen to me when I was back in the 90s. Well, if you challenge them, they lash out at you. You should change your name to, Lord have mercy. Please forgive me, people. I am trying to talk about this very abusive tactic or manipulation tactic in workplaces. Anyways. So, they make racist comments, sexist comments, or whatever. It can be and then deny they said them in the first place. They may call people to be offensive, and you know who the real perpetrator is. It can be in two-faced. It's more sinister to keep others off balance. Attempt to belittle it all in one ugly package. That can happen. That also happened to me at one time, back in the 90s. All right? And number 4, do you challenge them, they lash out at you. Listen, if you're an employee at a workplace, you do not have to take this abuse. Do you get that? So you're being so irrational. Don't you think you're overreacting? That's a common response that they'll give you with these responses. Perpetrator not only dismisses your emotions, but deflects their own responsibility for their own behavior. You begin to feel if it's that you're the one that's at fault. Let me tell you something. If you just started working at this place, wherever you're at, and you begin to feel like it's your fault, listen, no, it isn't. Sometimes the answer is right there in front of you if somebody cannot keep workers. And they throw enough positive reinforcement to confuse you. Number 4. When you are constantly criticized with no compliments or balancing out the crap, you just quit, right? Gaslighter realize everyone has their breaking point, so they'll string you along. I just had that done to me whenever I had my mom's funeral Saturday. This time, yeah, I made up my mind. I'm putting my foot down. Whether it cost me my job again or not, I'm putting my foot down. The previous place I worked at, I'll give the assistant manager credit for saying that I have to stand up for myself, which, by the way, it feels different. When you stand up for yourself and you actually become a magnet to draw everybody into a united front, it works wonders. But I left the place because of the length of commute and gas prices. Hopefully work closer. I just got into another working condition that often get paid weekly as well. All right. The moment you had enough of their treatment, they'll pepper in just enough praise to keep you from leaving them. Let me tell you something. You take that praise and you tell them that it's dismissed, that you are tired of their mess. You had enough. So if you think you've been gaslighted, what can you do? Put your foot down. Don't take no more. Tell them you had enough. Let the manager, let the assistant manager, let the shift leader know you had enough. You had enough. It's over. It's done. There's if the gaslighter comes up to you and apologize, tell them to take it to the bathroom and sit on it, or actually go if they try to apologize, just say, do they know right from wrong? If they say yes, throw it back at them. Make them eat the same kind of treatment they dished at you. Sometimes, listen, two wrongs don't make a right. But if somebody gaslights you, you gaslight them back. Fight fire with fire. You're going to get burnt. But the person doing the burning will learn their lesson not to mess with you. All right, 9 common gaslighting phrases, how to respond. Of course, every workplace gaslighting situation is unique. Gaslighters often use certain phrases or ideas when they're manipulating. We list out a few of them to be aware of, plus how to respond if and when someone tries to use them on you. First, a caveat on how to respond to gaslighters. Gaslighters want you to question yourself and feel upset and unbalanced. Most of what we learned about gaslighting, that it's best to simply not engage with them. There's definitely a space for standing up for yourself and letting them know you won't be part of their games, but sometimes it's best to walk away from the interaction. Be the judge in the moment. If you need to, take it to HR. I got one better idea instead of taking it to HR. Actually, the HR protects the CEO from you, manager, assistant manager, shift lead, and a coworker. So be careful when going to the HR. All right. They may simply try to blackball you from rehire. And I had this happen to me in 2004. All right. Number gaslighter phrase. You're acting insane, or what are you talking about? That's okay. Gaslighting 101. Gaslighters work hard and make you question yourself. Dr. Sark explains that keeping their victims off balance is essentially the point for gaslighters. If a co-worker makes you question your own memory or action, think of it as a big red flag. By lying about an incident or telling when you're the crazy one, they make you question your own lived reality. All right, well, how to respond to the gaslighter. We discussed this in more detail, but first we recommend take detailed notes of your interaction with the gaslighter. Once you're aware you're dealing with one, you know that you will have to rely on your word and experience versus theirs. If a gaslighter tells you you're crazy, try simply saying, actually, I remember that happening X way. It's key to reaffirm your version of event without getting drawn into a confrontation with them. Gaslighter phrase 2, I didn't say that. Again, gaslighters don't want you to question your own reality. It can be maddening to hear someone say something and then to hear them say, I didn't say that. Does that just sound like you in that situation? Stomp your foot down in front of them and tell them you had enough and that you will not be manipulated on the job. And if you have to scream, get your point across. Then you start to think, well, maybe they didn't say it. Maybe I'm wrong. This technique is also common with people who are considered narcissists. How to respond to the gaslighter. If you know that the gaslighter didn't see what you denied, which is made easier if you are take notes or screenshots of the interaction, you can simply say, yes, you did, and then present them with your evidence. If, however, you don't have tangible proof, which, let's be honest, would be hard to have on hand for every interaction, and you can simply say something like, we must be remembering things differently, then move on again. The key is not get drawn into a drama if you can help it. Now, gaslighter phrase number 3, don't be so sensitive. This one's a doozy and often heard in situations where you deal with mansplaining first, since when sensitivity is considered a negative trait. We think it's good to be sensitive to your own needs, to the needs of the others around you, and when in fact, it can be beneficial to have sensitive people in workplace. They're in tune with overall environment and usually empathetic and kind. Gaslighters often imply that their sensitivity is a negative trait. It may sound like, well, you just need thicker skin. So if that happened to you, you just tell them, hey, you just tell them in front of the person who hired them on their workplace that you will not be manipulated. That your skin is already thick as it is. That anything they say will be used against them. And I'll leave it at that. And I promise you, you will be set free by reading these article materials when I put the link in this YouTube description. All right? How to respond to the gaslighter. There's a lot to unpack here. Not only the gaslighter insulting you by implying you are not being tough enough, they are also deflecting any responsibility for their own words or actions. If someone says this to you, simply react calmly without showing them much emotion. For example, if a coworker implies that you messed up your work assignment and you protest, they might use this phrase in turn. It works best if you respond to something like, well, I actually done X, Y, and Z. Do you want to go over it together? That's another way to set them in their own tracks. Gaslighter number 4, you remember it wrong or it didn't happen that way. Another phrase that shows their own denial. And this one tries to get you to question your memory and sanity. So let's keep it short here. If somebody did that to you, we think it best to keep it short here. Try something. Actually, I know that it happened this way. If you remember differently, we just have to agree to disagree. Leave it at that. Sorry about that. All right. Gaslighter phrase number 5. Everyone thinks you're crazy. particularly rough part of gaslighting, in fact, that gaslighters want you to think everyone else agrees with them, that the whole group thinks you are the crazy one. Not only this makes you question your own version of events, but it alienates you from the rest of the crowd, which is a very lonely place to be. If you're feeling alone and questioning yourself, then you're in a more vulnerable position. This right here is where the gaslighter wants you. And to the person that had this happen to them, I'm telling you this. You're the victim, not them. Take them to the side, put your foot down, you tell them you are not their brainwashee, and you will not be manipulated. And that in turn will snap them in reality, and they will not know what to do with you then. They'll try to apologize. And if you accept it, they're going to try to manipulate you again. I'm warning you. All right? My name is Phil. I'm warning you. They will, if you accept their apology, they will try another way to manipulate you again. Leopards never change their spots. Once a gaslighter, always a gaslighter. All right? And how to respond to the gaslighter. Before you realize the gaslighter is trying to get you to feel bad about yourself, he or she wants you to feel alone. If you want a good work environment, positive rapport with your colleagues, it's unlikely that they said anything negative about you at all. So, gaslighters thrive off of lying. For this one, we recommend taking it to HR or simply saying, I doubt that, then disengage from the conversation. Gaslighter phrase number 6. You seem unstable. The instability, gaslighter's favorite accusation. All right. This phrase wills it into being for them. They want you to believe you are unstable, so you become unstable. And the more you're feeling unstable and insecure, the more vulnerable you are to their antics, such as barking orders. And then you have any kind of disability like hearing impairment, they'll look at you like, did you hear me? Did you hear me? That's a form of manipulation. That's a form of manipulation. All right? It's time for you to have peace and sanity in the workplace. Take back the power that belongs to you. You don't need the gaslighters. You don't need them around. Simply cut them out of your life, cut them out of your wherever you're at. I'm telling you. This phrase will into them being for them that they want you to believe you are, and it'll all this phrase I already read will make you vulnerable to their antics. How to respond to the gaslighter. The gaslighter will use this one if you react to their words or action in an emotional way. Say you exclaim, that's not true. And if they describe a version of this event that you know is in fact not true, they may quickly respond, you seem unstable. They want you to look emotionally unsteady and quick to anger. Be right back. I'm gonna go get me some water, and I'm gonna continue on with this. And if this happened to you, staying calm is your mantra. Best to not allow them to rile you up. it might be best to respond with, "That's interesting. We'll disagree about this." And it sounds like there's no point in arguing about it, though. Be right back. I'm going to get me some more water to continue on Gaslighter phrase 7. Don't take it so personally. Be right back, everyone. All right, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. I'm ready to talk about gaslighting phrase number 7. Don't take it so personally. That's another version of too sensitive. Telling someone they're taking something too personally means gaslighter has said something insulting and doesn't want to take accountability for it. This one, a cousin to the phrase, "no offense, but," followed to something that actually really is offensive, groan. All right, how to respond to the gaslighter. Gaslighter at work often say they want to help when they're saying something unkind or semi-insulting to you or about your work. And the workplace is a perfect example or a perfect environment for this. If you react to them in an emotional way, then they'll say you're taking something personally instead of realizing it's about the work. To that we say, your work is personal. Simply respond, "I think it's best we provide constructive feedback rather than comments that be construed as insulting." Gaslighter phrase number 8. I'm sorry you feel that way. We're all way too familiar with this one. All right. We are too familiar with this one. All right, you ready? An apology that's not an apology. Once you try to express that of a gaslighter's word or action that negatively affected you, then you might want to hear this phrase in response. They're not apologizing. All right. How to respond to the gaslighter. All right. It's simply unlikely you're going to hear a sincere apology from the gaslighter. In fact, we think this is about as close as you're going to get in a sense. Be simply moving on is best. Gaslighter number 9. I was just joking around. Oh, wow. This phrase is defensive. They're saying you are too sensitive, that they did not do anything wrong in one fell swoop. Plus, it makes you look like you can't take a joke. Well, how to respond to the gaslighter. If you already expressed displeasure with their words or action, which you are likely did, and they respond with this phrase, try reiterating your point. Something like, "I understand you thought that X was a joke, but I did not understand it that way. Could you please explain it to me?" I have taken some links off of Career Catessa. This basically happens in office environments. Also, it happens in all environments relating to occupation. Now, gaslighting is a simple, fine line in the employee handbook's term. It's called harassment. All right? Some may have more experience than you before you came along. I him why workplaces sometimes cannot keep workers. It's because of this one form of harassment, which is called gaslighting. So I got another page I'm opening. I'm fixing to switch over to the other one. Alrighty. Gaslighting at work. 10 signs your co-workers or boss are messing with you. Alright. I am going to go ahead and close this video, and I'm going to post links. Alright. I'm going to let everybody read these links to these websites. And, you know, you know, um, I've been done this way in the workplaces, and I've actually have to draw a line in the sand. All right, and sometimes somebody that's over you, besides your GM or manager designate or assistant manager, they have to go by the book. Or shift supervisor, they got to go by the book as well. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and close with this. They are going to cause you to lose sight of your focus, all right? Gaslighters will, first, when they see you brand new at work, they'll try to become on your good side. All right? And then they're going to try to, when you work with another coworker that's brand new, you encourage them, and I didn't talk to you. I didn't say nothing to you. You need to shut up. The gaslighter will intimidate you as well. So it's time to draw a line in the sand and tell them you had enough. And listen, you're employed at a workplace. You have rights under the labor regulation where you work at. You got rights. You got a handbook that should be followed. The GM has to follow it. Going down in the chain of command, they have to follow it. And remember, make sure you are not in with that. And that way it cannot backfire on you. Okay? Again, you have a good day. I hope you have a good day at work. And gaslighters will exist. And sometimes they will not be in management. Sometimes they'll be a coworker. Know the signs. Okay? Thank you, and you have a good day. And I wish you the best day at work, wherever you may work at. All right? God bless.